Pokemon Platinum with only one Abra was brutal at the start and easy in the middle, so let's do another Platinum one that's a little harder in the middle. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Platinum with a team of only in-game traded Pokemon. Platinum only has 3 in-game traded Pokemon until after the Pokemon Champion, so for the first time in one of my trade runs, I won't have a full team. Not only that, but because traded Pokemon have obedience issues if overleveled past the cap of whatever your badges give you, we're almost for sure going to have sections of the run where we need to hope our Pokemon do what we tell them to, just to win basic fights. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if you think I can win or not. I'm confident that I can win this run, but the early game is going to be rough, and obedience is definitely going to be an issue through the middle, no doubt. Let's explain the rules. I'm only allowed to use Pokemon that I've gotten from in-game trades. I'm allowed to use HM Pokemon at required parts since it would be impossible to otherwise, but I can't use them in battle. We have to do every trade that's in the game. For Pokemon that we need to evolve before trading, we're allowed to grind them on wild Pokemon till they evolve, but we're not allowed to use them to progress in the game. No glitches or exploits are allowed, and I can't use the items menu in battle. Only items outside of combat or held items are allowed. Let's do this. The first trade is until Orberg City, and the Pokemon we need for it is right next to it, so no Universal Pokemon Randomizer this time. I simply use the starter to easily fight my way there, catch a Machop, and trade it for an Abra named Kaza. Now, I know what you're thinking, I literally just did an Abra run in this game last week. Well, that's why I'm so confident that I can beat the game with traded Pokemon. The real challenge is seeing how low of a level I can do this at, and if I'll still be sane due to obedience by the end of it. Anyway, Kaza is quiet nature, so less speed and more special attack. I'm perfectly fine with that. A lot of people are actually asking in the last run why I didn't fight Zubats to get speed EVs. Because I was faster than everything in the game anyway, why would I need speed EVs? Anyway, he only has teleport, so I teach him return with a TM just like I did last run. So, while I grind, we've run into a problem already. To beat the Rock Gym, we're going to want to evolve Abra into Kadabra so he learns Confusion. That doesn't happen until level 16, and Outsider Pokemon stop obeying us past level 10 if we don't have 2 badges. In fact, that would only bring our obedience up to level 30. So this Abra stops obeying us the moment he passes level 10, and with him being our only Pokemon until just before the second gym, it's completely possible that Kaza here isn't going to obey us for like half of this challenge. Outsider Pokemon level quickly, so he's likely going to spend large chunks of the runs above our obedience level. Leveling an Abra who doesn't obey you is the absolute worst. Half the time, he runs away from fights that he's about to win. Eventually, we hit level 16 and evolve. Kaza's post-evolution stats aren't half bad, although I'm skeptical that he'd actually beat Rorik, since he rarely listens to me, so I have to get a few more levels first. When trying to fight his Geodude, Kaza disobeyed me 6 times in a row. One of the times he disobeyed, he disabled and shut down Geodude's ability to attack, and I would have lost for sure if not for that. After that, though, he mostly listened, and we one-shot swept the whole team. On my way to the Valley Windworks to make some progress, I bumped into a Buizel. We actually need to trade one of these in the upcoming city, so I catch it. Commander Mars in the Windworks itself is awful, though. Her second Pokemon is a Purugly with Fake Out and Feint Attack, so it takes a few tries to survive thanks to Kaza refusing to attack. After a few tries, though, he finally uses Psybeam and gets an easy win. In the Eterna condominiums, we trade our Buizel for a Chatot named Cherub. It's got a lonely nature, so less defense and more attack, and it has Tangled Feet as an ability, so when confused, moves have half of their accuracy against her. Kaza is so close to level 30 that we're realistically not going to have any obedience time after this gym with him, although at least we'll get to use Cherub stress-free for a little while, not till after we get the badge though. Here's me trying to level up Cherub before the gym a little bit. This is a level 14 Magikarp. It can't fight back, and yet it takes an entire minute with fast text speed and no animations on just to beat it. This should have taken 15 seconds. I can't even beat the Goldeen without Kaza coming in to save it. It might be our best hope to sweep the Grass Gym with Kaza and level Cherub a little bit after she starts obeying. My first try at the Grass Gym was going great as I one-shotted our first 2 Pokemon, and then Kaza decided to disobey me so many times that he fainted when I could have had a one-shot sweep on the whole team. It took a few tries, but eventually Kaza cooperated long enough for me to get the win. Now that we have 2 badges, Pokemon will listen to us until they hit level 31, so at least Chirp will listen for a little while. I tried to fight Commander Jupiter, but thanks to her Skuntank, Keza flat out can't take her out. Chirp would stand a chance if not for her low stats, so I decided to come back a few levels later. At level 26 it goes much smoother, with Chatter getting reasonably strong, and Skuntank not fighting at her best. We're getting dangerously close to Chirp not obeying us though. Next is the Ghost Gym, and I was dreading this one. Keza is the perfect Pokemon to sweep them, but I just knew he wouldn't listen. Her Duskull isn't anything too dangerous, but Keza disobeyed so many times that we ended up getting burned before we took her out. Next was Miss Majus, a particularly rough one. Keza did some damage, but Shadow Ball took us out like we were nothing. Chirp is out, and a handful of Chatters did the job, but we lost over half of our health to Psybeams. We learned Mimic by hitting level 29, but it won't really help us much here. Last is her Haunter, so I used Sing to put it to sleep, and used Chatter for far more damage than I was expecting. But then she wakes up and puts us to sleep in return. She then does the stupidest thing she could have. She confused Chirp, boosting our dodge chance thanks to our Tangled Feet ability. As a result, we managed to hang on long enough to wake up and finish the fight with a second Chatter. I can't believe how well that went. To continue the weird stroke of luck, Keza totally swept through the following rival fight. He's still disobedient, but he listened enough times that I had a real easy time with that fight. At the fighting gym, Chirp finally becomes disobedient, and it's a real shame. We have a Psychic and a Flying type. This gym should be easy, but both of our traded Pokemon hardly listen to us. If we can just get the badge, they'll at least obey us up until level 51. First try on the fighting gym leader doesn't go too well, and I wish I could say it was because of disobedience, but honestly, even if they obeyed, it wouldn't have been that clean. Maybe I could win, but I think it'd be smart to come back just a few levels higher. A few levels later and we try again. Chirp one-shots Meditite, we take big damage from Machoke's Rock Tomb, but one Chatter takes him out too. Lucario Drain punches us for massive damage as our Chatter only takes out about 1/3 of his health. Chirp goes down and Keza finishes it with one Psybeam. With that we have 4 gym badges and Pokemon will obey us till level 50. Although that's nice, I should still refrain from power leveling. It's very possible to accidentally go over level 50 before getting the 6th gym badge from the Steel Gym, and that's a hard one without Grass Knot, so we'll have to make sure Keza is obeying us. Before the Water Gym, we have another rival fight, but this one goes great. Chirp has surprisingly great special attacks, so spamming Chatter is all it takes to make short work of him. I haven't been showing it, but there's been a ton of fights in between each city, so it actually feels kinda weird to have a bunch of battles where the Pokemon actually obey me. I go ahead and teach Keza Grass Knot since it's an amazing move for both this gym and the next one. Then we challenge Crasher Wake. It goes way worse than I expected though. Gyarados is scary and took a lot to take down, but his Floatzel is so much more dangerous than I expected. He's faster than Keza and one-shots him with Crunch, and his Ice Fang does a lot of damage to Chirp. I'll for sure need a few more levels. I really don't like the idea of hitting level 50 though. I need to be careful. At level 44, I managed to get a lot farther. The classic strategy of putting the opponent to sleep, healing with Roost when needed, and using Chatter whenever I can, took out Gyarados and Floatzel, and Quagsire went down to a Grass Knot like he was nothing, getting us the 5th badge. One more badge and we can get our Pokemon up to level 70. We have a couple big fights before that though. The Cyrus fight goes well considering we're not over-leveled, and he's pretty good against Psychic types, but man, I do not like how higher levels are getting. Chirp ends this at level 48 and Keza at level 45. Not only do we have another rival fight, but we have the trainers in the Steel Gym before we can fight the gym leader. We might be disobedient by then. The rival battle itself was also another easy sweep, but Chirp and Keza both level up once. Only a few mandatory trainers before Byron. By the time I get to him, Keza is level 48 and Chirp is at level 49. It's close, but this should be enough. First up is Magneton, so I have Keza use Psychic. I get hit by Metal Sound and lose Special Defense, but it's not too bad, so another Psychic finishes it. Bastiodon is next, and I hit Grass Knot, but I do less damage than I had hoped for. He boosts up with Iron Defense, but that doesn't matter, so I just Grass Knot him again. Metal Burst hits us incredibly hard due to it being a countering move, but another Grass Knot ends it. Last is Steelix, but Grass Knot doesn't quite one-shot it, leaving him with a sliver as he finishes us up with Earthquake. I send out Chirp and go for Chatter, but he uses a full restore. We end up getting stuck in a cycle of putting him to sleep and healing for a long time until eventually we whittle him down and finish him with Chatter. Now that we have 6 badges, our team will obey us up until level 70. That should be enough to make it to the final gym as long as we're careful not to level up too much. Plus, we get another Pokemon soon. Commander Saturn was a cakewalk, but I'd just like to take a moment to say how incredibly liberating it feels to do a fight without worrying about micromanaging how much experience one guy gets. I can't be too reckless, I can't just go fighting every trainer I see, but not having to worry about every last fight is great. On my way through Mount Coronet, I head up north, and I run into a high-level Meditite, so I decide to catch it since we'll need to evolve it and trade it up in Snow Point. I train him on my way with an experience share. Finally, we're in Snow Point City, so I take out Medicham and trade it for a haunter named Gaspar. He's holding an Everstone so he doesn't turn into a Gengar, officially making the original trainer Mindy the most hateable person in all of Sinnoh. Anyway, Gaspar has Levitate so he doesn't get hit by ground moves, and a Hasty Nature for more speed and less defense, which is kinda lame. Anyway, with that we have our last Pokemon. Yeah, there's one trade left, but that's actually in the post-game, so although we have to do that trade eventually, we're never actually going to use that Pokemon that we get from it. Let's go take on Candace. This fight was fantastic. First she sends out Sneasel, a dark type, so I use Cherub. Ice Shard does a massive amount of damage, but so does our Chatter. 2 rounds of that leaves us with only 22 health, but takes out Sneasel. Second is the legendary Snowbomba. You know I had to. And his ability makes it hail. Psychic nearly takes him down as his Wood Hammer brings us to only 9 health. The recoil ends him, but the hail brings us all the way down to 2 health. Third is Frostlass. I decide to have Kazza sacrifice himself by one-shotting with Psychic, but fainting to the hail as a result. Last is Piloswine, so I get Cherub to try for Sing, but we both miss, so I try again as our health is dire. She falls asleep and our health is only at 4, so I use Roost twice to heal up, but we get hit with a Stone Edge for big damage. Chatter does a lot more damage than I expected, but Avalanche does double damage after being hit, so it takes out Cherub. Last is Gaspar, and my Shadow Ball brings her down to a sliver of health as Stone Edge drops us to only 7 and Hail drops us to 2. I go for the finishing blow as she uses a full restore to survive and we go down to Hail. I can't even be mad. That fight was a ton of fun. I come back with a few more levels, mostly on Gaspar. Sneasel versus Cherub goes much better this time, as we have a speed tie, so we end up going first on the second round, taking out Sneasel, leaving us with much more health. Snowbomba goes the same way as before, as does sacrificing Kazza to take out Frostlass, so Piloswine is last. I have Cherub hit Chatter for massive damage, but get taken down in a Stone Edge in the process. Last out is Gaspar, and in between his speed and high special attack, a Shadow Ball is able to win us the 7th badge. Only one more before we don't need to worry about level caps, although I have 2 Cyrus fights before that 8th gym. I go ahead and teach Kazza Shockwave. It's not a very strong electric move, but it's reliable, and it should be enough to take down Cyrus's brutal Haunch Crow. Out first is Sneasel, so I have Cherub chatter it down in a couple of hits, while all he does is use Screech on us. Next is Crobat, so I one-shot him with Psychic from Kazza. I keep him out for Haunch Crow to hit Shockwave, and I'm lucky he ate a berry. It would have been much worse if he landed in red and used a full restore. Kazza is down, so Cherub is back out to end it with a Chatter. The battle went well, but there's no way I'm ready for the final Cyrus battle, so I'm gonna need to level up a little bit in Mount Coronet. Commander Saturn was an amazing pushover though. I hadn't even healed up since the Cyrus fight, and I hardly had to look at the screen. Last before our Cyrus fight is a double battle against Jupiter and Mars. Part of the challenge is that our rival is an idiot, and his Munchlax sucks. Honestly, the battle doesn't go half bad, I've had worse, but I swear this battle is a prank by Game Freak. 2 super defensive bronzers, they always open with Reflect and Light Screen, and your partner spends almost the whole battle using Stockpile and Swallow. It's like they wanted to create the longest and most boring battle in the franchise. Fun fact, you can actually watch me go through the Distortion World in a Pokemon Challenge update vlog I did. In short, it was a vlog where I was talking about how I'll be streaming Pokemon Shield a ton on my Twitch TV page, linked in the description as soon as it comes out, and uploading the videos of it on YouTube. Considering the game is out by the time this goes up, I'll be streaming Pokemon Shield as soon as the premiere you're watching right now is over, so follow me on Twitch. Also, that I want to have a ton of big challenges done by December, so look forward to that. Cyrus time. First is Houndoom, so I start with Cherub. Chatter takes out half his health as he burns us with a Will-O-Wisp, and a second Chatter takes him out. Next is his terrifying Weevil. Sing puts him to sleep, and Chatter does decent damage, but the second one doesn't take him out, although it confuses him. He wakes up and Ice Punches us for an easy knockout. I send out Kazza next, and he's level 70, so we're on the brink of becoming disobedient again. Shockwave ends Weavile, and I don't like how close we are to 71. Honchkrow is next, and I have to use Kazza to take it out in one easy Shockwave. Still not 71, but so close. Crobat is next, and obviously we need Kazza again, so I one-shot with Psychic and level up. We're disobedient now. Last is Gyarados, and we obviously need Shockwave, so I keep Kazza out, and through sheer good luck, Kazza obeys us and uses Shockwave first try, getting us the win. If Kazza didn't obey, we probably would have gotten taken out in one shot, as would Gasper. That was nerve-wracking. We still have one last big battle before the Elite Four, and that's the final gym leader, but Kazza is disobedient, and Cherub is flying type, so this might be a mess. At least after I beat this guy, I'll get Charge Beam for Kazza. I don't know why I didn't think of giving that to Abra last run. Volkner time, first with Jolteon. I use Kazza just to get him out of the way first, but my first Psychic actually goes off without a hitch for a one-shot. Raichu is next, but Kazza does nothing and gets hit by a weak Signal Beam. He disobeys and uses Shockwave, and it doesn't do that much, and gets hit again. Third try though, he listens and finishes it with Psychic. Third is Luxray, but again, Kazza listens and one-shots it with Psychic. Last is Electric Dr. Robotnik, and yet again, Psychic one-shots him. Wow, that fight went way better than it had any right to. That means that our Pokemon obey us now. That's awesome. One last pre-Elite Four fight, and it's our rival. It starts off incredibly with me sweeping almost his whole team until Snorlax. Grassnot hits hard due to his weight, but he critically hits us with Crunch to take out Kazza. I then have a brutal song and dance routine of using Chatter a handful of times with Cherub, just for him to use Rest. Eventually, a Chatter confuses him though, so he hits himself when waking up rather than using Rest again. Last is Infernape, who goes down easily in one Chatter. It's almost Elite Four time, but I decide to get a few more levels on Cherub and Gaspar, just to get them up to level 70 for safety. I also replace Shockwave with Charge Beam. It's slightly weaker and less accurate, but it builds up Kazza's special attack every time he uses it, so it quickly becomes powerful for sweeping. Here's our team. I'm confident that we can win, but we might end up needing a few more levels. Make your final guesses on if we can do it or not. Let's do this. First is Bug Trainer Aaron. Yanmega goes down to one Chatter. Second is Drapion, a part dark, so he's dangerous. I have Kazza use a Charge Beam as we get hit by Cross Poison. We hang on with about half our health and finish it with another Charge Beam. Third is Scizor, so I use my powered up Psychic to take it out. I switch back to Chair for Vespiquen, and Chatter does massive damage as it raises his defense and uses a full restore, but two more Chatters end it. Last is Heracross, who has a double weakness to flying, so one Chatter is all it takes. Second is Ground Trainer Bertha. She's a total sweep with Kazza though. Grassnot and Psychic is all it takes. Third is Fire Trainer Flint. Houndoom is out first, so Cherub uses Chatter. Houndoom only used Sunny Day though, so another Chatter finishes it. Infernape goes down to one Chatter due to being fighting type. Magmortar is next, so I switch for Kazza and hit hard with Psychic, but faint due to Flamethrower. I have Gasper finish it off with a Shadow Ball. Flareon is out, but takes big damage from Shadow Ball, but hits us hard with an Overheat. A second Shadow Ball ends it. Last is Rapidash, so I switch for Cherub and Chatter. Fire Blitz hits us hard, but even with his full restore, it only took a couple of Chatters to finish it off. I heal up the team with some items in between battles and move on. Last for the Elite Four, Psychic Trainer Lucian. Shockingly, it's a total beatdown. Gasper and Kazza made incredibly short work of him. Nothing interesting to recap here. Fun fact, did you notice that the experience and power points are slightly off? That's because I was an idiot and forgot to buy healing items, so after Flint, I had to restart the game to right before the Elite Four to go buy some, causing me to redo those fights slightly differently. Anyway, I heal up in between battle, of course, use some elixirs, and prepare for the last fight. Finally, it's Pokemon Champion Cynthia. First is Spiritomb, so I use Chatter on Cherub. We do decent damage, and Dark Pulse hits us hard. We both land in red health on the second round as she full restores and I sing it to sleep, I roost to heal up and shatter until Spiritomb is done. Togekiss is next and I switch for Gasper, forgetting that it's part normal. I use a Shadow Ball like an idiot and it doesn't work, but air/misses, so I Dark Pulse for very little damage but causing a flinch. I commit and just decide to keep using it, but Gaspar doesn't last long. At least Togekiss has low health. I send out Kaza and finish it with Charge Beam. Next is Lucario, so I take it out in one Psychic, and then is Garchomp, and I hit it hard with Psychic. Dragon Rush misses, but like an idiot, I forgot that he's ground, so my Charge Beam does nothing, and I nearly go down to an Earthquake. I finish it with Psychic. Melodic is out, so I go for another Charge Beam, but can't finish it, and end up going down to Surf. Last for my team is Chirp, so I finish off Melodic with Fly, since his defense is worse than its special defense. We're both on our last Pokemon with a Roserade, so I fly and manage to take it out in one hit, winning us the game. We're the new champion, and the credits roll, but as anticlimactic and weird as it is, that's not the end of the run. We have one last in-game trade left, and we already have the Pokemon we need for the trade. It's a Finian, the thing that I've been using to surf the whole game. The problem is that this person doesn't let us pass until we have the National Dex by seeing every Pokemon in Sinnoh. This takes an absolute eternity, so what I did was I checked out this Cerebi.net article giving you a breakdown on what you've probably missed and where to find it, because my god, this takes forever. I'm missing 25 Pokemon, but I have come this far and I'm ahead of schedule for once, and I am not letting one extra day of hunting stop me. I'm just happy that the legendaries are easy to find in this gen. Even Mesprit is added to the Pokédex before you even have to hunt him down on the map. Eventually, a day later, follow me on Twitter, I reached 210, so everything in the Sinnoh Pokédex. Last one I got was Rotom because I had to wait for nighttime. I get the National Dex, and I go back to the fight area, yes, it's called that, and the trainers are gone, so we can progress. I get to Meister's cabin, and trade our Finian for Magikarp named Foppa. She's got a mild nature, so less defense and more special attack, and she's a swift swimmer, but that's literally the last thing we have to do in the game, so I don't have to use Foppa at all. Super anticlimactic ending, and a ton of extra work with no difficulty at the end. But hey, the bulk of the run was really fun. I'm not sure what challenge I want to do next for sure, but I'm thinking I might do a Chansey run since you guys request that so much. That, or I have started working on a no new moves run for Generation 1, because you guys have been asking for that. Maybe that'll come out first. Whatever it ends up being though, I'm going to try my absolute best to make sure it's ready for you by next Saturday, as always. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. If you want to see me do more challenges like this, please let me know in the comments or on Twitter. I can always use more ideas from you guys on what I should do next. Also, check out the playlist in the description to watch all of the Pokemon challenges that I've already uploaded. If you guys want to see me do more Pokemon stuff, my friend Whatageek and I just finished a black and white randomizer over on his channel, and we're moving on to a Gen 1 randomizer for some goofy fun. Also, come check out my Twitch streams and tell me that this video sent you. It's always cool hearing how you found the channel. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.